Hold on. Okay. So what's happening is we're getting squeezed, we're getting squeezed out of the old way of being and birthing through into a new way. And, you know, it's tricky because there's all kinds of systems that are crumbling. Schools, we're having, people are taking their kids out of schools because of all the restrictions, which is what we did a year ago. And people are getting kicked out of their jobs if they're not injecting themselves with mystery substance. And people are being told, they're not able to go. We are not able to go in certain places if you haven't injected yourself with mystery substance, which is quite dangerous, as I've seen personally with people, the mystery substance. I don't need to say that because I think a lot of us know. And also we're seeing that this, disease is actually becoming more serious for many because, I have to be careful of the words I'm using, because this mystery substance was deployed in the middle of pandemic, which many doctors had said would not be good because it would create new strains that could be more dangerous and more contagious. And we're seeing that happen now. It's heartbreaking. So how do we manage this? How do we handle it? Frankly, because there's so much stress, like people have been in this state of fight or flight for so long. And, those of us who do spiritual work can see in some ways, and we know that it's been talked about in this field for a long time, that there would be this massive shift moving from these 3D into 5D. And we're being literally pushed right now. But it is like going through the process of childbirth. And if you didn't know what you were going through when you were giving birth to a child, you'd be like, what is happening? Why am I in such intense pain? Why is this, is my life, everything falling apart? What the heck is happening to me? So I'm hoping, I'm doing my best to share what I believe is happening. And a lot of people are doing that as well, to help people who are not understanding why everything seems to be falling apart. And I've talked about this with maybe some of you here, some friends who, it's like when something is so corrupt and so damaged, like a house that's been built on a foundation that is faulty, you can't just keep patching it up. You can try, but you need to just start over, clean the slates and start over. And I sing this in the Akashic Records with a lot of people in their lives. Thank you, Jenny. And that's what we're seeing. It's like we can't just keep putting band-aids on things. Has to be rebuilt. The barn's burning. The barn is burning to the ground so it can be rebuilt. So, and this does mean keeping ourselves healthy because, this is not going away. So how do we, I just experienced that this past week with my daughter having Lyme. It was early, so we're able to treat it because it's been, just a week and a half, but I realized how incredibly important it is to keep our bodies really healthy, eating organic, taking supplements, getting as many healthy plants, not just regular food that's healthy, but certain plants that, ashwagandha, astragalus, I've always pronounced it wrong. There's, calendula, there's echinacea, there's all these plants and essences and tinctures that can really give us a boost that a lot of us will need to start ingesting regularly to keep our immune systems really strong. Of course, there's garlic, there's turmeric, there's things like that. We can eat mushrooms. I forgot that. Super, super, super powerful adaptogens, keeping us healthy. Meditation, sunlight, social interaction, exercise, all of these things are going to be how we keep ourselves healthy, not avoiding human contact and injecting ourselves with chemicals. That is not the answer. Or gene therapy, right? That's what we've been told, and it's making people sicker. That's what's happening. We need to be exposed to germs. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. You guys all know that. But I know I've experienced that with my daughter just very, very strongly this past week, and thankfully she's healing. But this is also, so this is also happening because we're expanding in our light bodies. We're raising our vibration to these higher levels where our bodies cannot sustain eating foods that are not in alignment. I used to go be driving and be like, oh, I'll go get a donut right now at Dunkin' Donuts, or I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna have some French fries. And, I still occasionally, I cannot eat Dunkin' Donuts anymore. They're so gross, but occasionally I'll have French fries, it's like, our bodies are going to start to tell us, no, don't eat that stuff. It's not good for you. You need to eat high vibration food, whole food, not processed, because we're expanding into our light bodies. And so our bodies will guide us. But it's all about perspective. So we can look at it as glass half empty or glass half full. So glass half empty, the old way of living, friendships, jobs, things we were used to, things that we used to do, our old lives, like those things are going away. For me, it happened a little earlier than for some people. But I don't see a lot of the same friends I used to have, pretty much none of them. I have all new friends, an amazing community of more friends and just more in this homeschool community than I'd ever had, a bigger community than I'd ever had in my whole life. I feel so blessed, but there's a little bit of a loss of like, oh, but I don't really talk to some of my old friends anymore. But it's all about this is the perspective shift. Okay, there's these losses of certain things, but were they really that great anyway? Driving around and going to concerts and going out to eat all the time. And like, yeah, it was a consumer-based culture. So now we're being pushed into more organic, potlucks, having music at somebody's house, creating our own businesses and collaborating with people to do cooperatives and just, bartering, skill sharing, homeschooling, and keeping ourselves super, super healthy. So this has all been predicted and we're literally living it right now. So it doesn't mean that it's easy. And I think, the one thing that I'm personally experiencing is seeing how people are deeply suffering and how I need to get, myself ready to be able to help as many people as possible. I'm not an herbalist, I'm not a homeopath, but I've been learning about that stuff through my own treating my daughter. And I have a family member who has a pretty serious injury from a Pfizer vaccine, and trying to help that family member. And it's similar treatments, by the way, for Lyme and this detox from the vaccines. And it's very interesting. Some of it's the same for treating COVID. So all kind of the same things. So, I think people are going to be needing help more and more. They already are. The place I go to Northern Sun Family Healthcare. My whole family does. They're naturopaths here in Maine. And they told me today, they've been getting 400 calls a day. 400 calls a day of people wanting to come to them. They're not even taking any new patients. We started seeing them a year ago, but it's literally unbelievable. People are wanting natural care, holistic care. So I teach a 10-month program, which I'm going to be talking about a little bit soon, teaching people how to be intuitive guides and stepping into their, sharing whatever it is, whatever their soul gifts, whatever they've done in many past lives, dancing, meditation, teaching people about plants, doing intuitive work. The list goes on, doing just farming and music, like anything you've always been interested in, that you want to kind of, you felt this call to, you are needed. And so there's going to be so many of us doing, like I'm doing, like my husband's doing, our own little businesses. And but years ago, I'd be like, oh, how do you make a living from that? It's always people doing that. And there's not a market. Now there is a market. We're moving into this spiritual economy. People are going to be, they already are starting to be desperate for help. A lot of people who've been forced essentially into injecting something into their bodies that they weren't comfortable injecting in, or they felt that they had to, are going to start to need more help than ever. I've seen it in the Akashic records, just a lot of healing happening, a lot of healing. So if we can make it through the rest of this year, and I'm in this observer mode, just watching all this stuff happen and trying to hold light, trying to hold space for the suffering that a lot of people are experiencing, and trying to help people understand what's happening so they don't, end their lives, or who know, all these things that people are just raging. Then I recommend that all of you here, if you're listening, that's probably part of your role too, is to hold that light, be that anchor. Yes, it doesn't mean that, we can't. When this past week, I was like, I really just need to focus on healing my daughter, keeping myself centered enough, to make sure that I can help her. And then, and I'm not, that's my number one priority is my kids. And then, I felt she was going to be better. I connected in intuitively, and my guides and angels were saying, she's going to be okay. And I was like, are you sure? And she is, for now, and I believe she will be. But that, it is, we have to kind of tend to our own garden first, right? And then help to others. But so that's important too, is really caring for yourself, making sure that you are centered, quieting your mind regularly, being outside in the earth. I just went out, and like my son and I he wanted to play this game, and it was some like made up game with different balls. And it was like, I'm so busy. I have so many things I'm doing. And I was planning on going to work on this workbook, and he asked me if I'd play with them. And I was like, yep, I'm always going to say yes when they ask me to play a game. So I went out, played with him. We ended up playing soccer and playing pass. And it was so great. It was just, I was, running around with him, and it's just in that moment of joy. Children just teach us so much, right? So we need to allow ourselves to feel joy and to let go from all the heaviness. So, all right, thank you for your kind words. And now I'm going to just guide us into the meditation, because that's what we're here for, right? So this is going to be just a short meditation on our bodies, like keeping strong in our bodies, and remembering that there's still going to be, there's fear all around right now, like fear of what's happening, fear of getting sick, fear of, the shedding that could be happening, or fear of 5G, or fear of who knows what, right? Or just the fear of the strict restrictions and being kicked out of society. And I've said this before, let me just say that I do not believe it's going to be as bad as all that. There's always going to be a way to maneuver and to do things. There's always going to be like-minded people. There's a lot more of us than we think. And that it's going to be okay. And again, we have the power to visualize and to co-create our lives the way we want them to be. And so you really getting control of our thoughts and focusing on what we want versus what we don't want, and not spending, this is the last thing I'll say, my personal belief, and this is, do what you feel is right for you, is I'm not focusing my energy on fighting the old dying systems. Yes, I'll speak up and, say that's not right. I don't believe in that, but I'm not going to spend a lot of my energy fighting what essentially is a battle that it's like, there's so much flow. And again, I always look for where the energy is, and the energy is flowing in the direction of people who really didn't like their jobs in the first place, and kids who really weren't that happy in their schools in the first place being pushed out. And my heart goes out to them. This isn't to say it's okay and everything's fine. Like, my heart breaks for children who are being treated differently, for people who are being discriminated against, who are staying in these jobs. But the flow is out of moving, getting pushed out. If it's not serving you, it's like, that's the flow. It doesn't mean it's okay. Some of these really strict rules, and doesn't mean this is okay. It's not okay, but it's happening. And so, it's going to be very difficult to fight, which is essentially, there's no legal rights anymore. It seems like there's so many things that, we could try, but why waste your energy? Why spend our energy on fighting a thing that we don't even really want to be a part of in the first place? So focus on what you want, focus on creating the new earth, building these new alternative healthcare systems, or somebody in this group I'm a part of calling it a life system. And it's happening. We are building it. We're already, all these homeschool things are being created, all kinds of things that are going to be so much better in the alternative, the new earth. So that's what I'm at least focusing on. All right. So let's do this meditation just to really bring in our body, strength into our body. And the energy of Archangel Raphael is always powerful for that, because that energy it's this green light. It's all about healing in our bodies. I'm also going to connect with Ariel, Archangel Ariel, who is all about the natural world, plants, and plants are going to be how we keep ourselves strong and healthy, because they have so much magic and power and healing for us, the gifts of the earth. So, all right, let's close our eyes. and just begin to connect. So you can take a few deep, full breaths in, breathing in a lot of air, holding, and then slowly exhaling out. Do this a few more times at your own pace. This is just really intentionally expanding into your lungs and into your belly. And then as you exhale out, just really slowly lengthen the exhale. Make it twice as long as the inhale if you can. Let go of anything not serving you in your body right now. Let your body begin to relax. You can just settle into the natural breathing pattern. Feel your belly rising and falling with the breath. Bring your awareness to the sounds around you, into your environment, and feel that connection between the internal systems in your physical vessel in your body, how that connects with, how that interacts with the energy around you, with your environment. And remember that you are here very intentionally at this time. You are here incarnated in this body on planet Earth for a very specific purpose. And as you breathe in, feel your heart getting stronger. Feel light coming into your body. This is part of your purpose, is to remember who you are as a being of light. Just your awareness and opening the door to connecting with your light helps to activate your light even more. Putting your free will choice into the energy that is here for you. You just have to say yes. So feeling that connection, allow that light to flow in as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Imagine like waves in an ocean, this light beginning to flow in through the top of your head, into your heart. Maybe it's flowing in through your third eye, and it's flowing through your body, circulating around. Allow that light to cleanse any stuck energy that's creating any stagnation or blockage in your body. Notice as you follow your breath, as it flows in and as it flows out, and as you follow this visualization of light. If there's a part in your body where the flow seems to be a little slower or not as strongly, the current isn't as strong. Maybe it's in your belly, maybe it's in your heart, maybe it's in your throat, maybe it's somewhere else. With your own intention, with the energy of your higher self, with angels, guides, any beings of pure light and pure love, especially Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael. Allow that light to begin to fully just wash through much more intensely, like a laser beam through that area. Maybe you notice a color. follow that light. So it's like a waterfall, river rushing through your body. Just feel it flowing now, washing away any debris, clearing it out so it can flow smoothly, cleanly, purely. And now to focus a little more on that area. Is there an emotion that's connected to this blockage you noticed? Is it some kind of feeling? Maybe usually it's an unwanted feeling. Just notice if that feeling can speak to you in some way. If it had a voice, what would it say? If it had a shape or a color, what would it look like? How does it choose to show itself to you? Just take a moment and really connect in with that feeling. Does that feeling have a color associated with it? Again, a shape. Is it moving? Is it in one place? Does it have a temperature? And as you know, now we want to really clear out this feeling. We want to release and understand this feeling. Well, first we want to understand and then release this feeling. Because if it is a negative emotion and it gets buried, if it is not identified, that is when it can begin to manifest in our bodies in a much louder way, otherwise known as illness. Or something that's energetically misaligned, pain, or whatever else we might call it in terms of negative labels. And simply these manifestations are simply our body trying to speak to us and our emotions speaking to us through the body, which is the only way they know how, if we're not listening otherwise. So in this moment, go deeper into that emotion. What is this emotion connected to in your life? Where did it come from? Take a moment. And ask yourself, do I want to continue carrying this emotion? Do I want to continue carrying it? Why am I allowing it still to be here? And now maybe go a little deeper. What would my life be like if I let some of this emotion go? And all the beliefs and associations connected with that emotion. What would happen if I just let some of that go? How would that feel? Sometimes even just thinking about it will begin to just let it go. And so now see if you can allow some of that emotion to be released. Just see what your subconscious mind, what your divine guides and angels who are here helping this process, how does that want to be released? And feel that emotion being pulled, drawn, drained, removed somehow out of your body. Take a moment and allow that to happen. Allow the light to wash it away. And what's an emotion that can take its place? Maybe the opposite of that emotion. What does feel right? What does feel good? What brings you into your highest and best self? What brings you a sense of lightness and freedom now that you've released some of that? What is that positive emotion, color, word, shape that you can replace, that you can invite in, something that feels so right, like a nice glove in your body? And notice that there's a color with this new emotion that comes in. And we're going to call upon Archangel Ariel to help identify any other external supplement, a plant medicine, an herb, flower essence that can help invoke that positive emotion. See what comes in. Sometimes there's colors that are associated with certain herbs or plants, and you may know what those are. Just see what floats in your mind. Ask and open your mind to receive. Is there any food that you can eat to bring in this emotion? Any food, which may be a plant. Trust what's coming in. Is there anything else that can bring in this emotion in your life? Any action step that feels right? Is it a word, is it an image, is it a feeling connected to some other action step? Just ask, what can I do next to bring in this emotion? What else can I do? See what floats in. And now, if you haven't already, take a moment to visualize yourself doing these things, eating, drinking, or just somehow incorporating into your body the plant, the herb, the essence that maybe you picked up on. See yourself being and doing things aligned with this emotion, fully accepting yourself as you are, loving yourself, being gentle with yourself, taking care of your emotional state translates into physical health with plants as a supplement, as a boost. See yourself in your daily life doing all these things, co-creating your reality in the way that feels good. Notice what it looks like, what it feels like, as if you're watching yourself in a movie. Just take a moment to do that. What else could come about in your life if you were to do this? Move through the movie, move into the little bit of a fast forward, see what else is coming as you do this. And take a deep breath in and just really invite this new emotion in, whatever it is. I choose blank. I choose joy. I choose self-love. I choose acceptance. I choose to be gentle with myself. I choose to fully and unconditionally forgive myself. Whatever it is, choose that now. You can take another deep breath and just come into prayer position. Your hands in prayer mudra, your heart center, a very powerful way to activate gratitude. You can put them over your heart, wherever feels right to you, or in your lap. Just taking a moment to give thanks to the divine guides, angels, beings of light who've been here, all connected to that source energy of God, who supported us in this exercise, who are continuing to guide us in our expansion, in our moving towards higher states of consciousness, and helping us anchor in the light to be of service to others in need. For this, we give much thanks and gratitude. Maybe so. And so it is. All right. Come back into your body. Open your eyes whenever you're ready. So I hope that was helpful in some way. There was, with what I'll tell you what I picked up on. It was just I was been feeling overwhelmed. Just have so much stuff to do, and if anybody else wants to share it too, I'd love to hear if you want to type it in. And the opposite emotion was just self-acceptance, being gentle with myself, not being so hard on I have to do this and this and this. And it was interesting. It was a light purple light, and it was instantly lavender. I was like, that's lavender. And I was shown like little bits of lavender to put in a bath, like actually I have it right here, actually, somewhere around here, sitting right next to me in this little dried bouquet. But to get some fresh lavender, in addition to lavender essential oil, which I have, but that lavender brings in a sense of calm. So that it's interesting. Sometimes maybe you picked up on stuff, maybe you didn't, but just keep, you can keep asking, like, what is the emotion that you can invite in? And there's often a plant and an herb and food. And I picked up on grapes, like that's what came in for me to eat. So anyway, I hope that was helpful in some way. I think it's interesting. I just, I'm guided to make these up on the spur of the moment. And it is very true that our emotions do translate into physical ailments if they're not clear. The heavy emotions, negative emotions, not always, right? Sometimes it's just something that happens to us, but that's one way that we can really keep our vibration high and ourselves healthy, is clearing out any negative emotions, any stuck energy in our body. So I hope I recorded this, I'll share this video at some point to help you, keep connecting. That's so cool. You saw purple too. So the angels can be very helpful. I connected with Archangel Michael for my daughter, Archangel Raphael actually, for my daughter, and asked, there's Archangel Shamuel, who's the angel of helping to find things. And I was praying to help find somebody that could help her. It makes me emotional just to think about it, because I was so worried. And I was guided to the right person. There's a few different people that helped her. And you can do that too. So just asking. I'm a huge fan of angels because they can shift energy. They can send us the right people. We just have to notice, right? And help us continue to be strong in our bodies, and and, fill up our vessels, fill up our cups, so then our cups can overflow so we can help others in need. So that's what we're going to be called to do, many of us, to help as many people as possible in the coming months and years. So, all right. Thanks for being here. Many blessings to all of you. If tomorrow evening, I'm doing a soulful work community gathering, channeling. It's actually not kind of channeling. It is kind of channeling, but do I have a book here? The Sophia Code, which is an act. It was a channeling by Kaya Ra of different divine feminine ascended masters. And we are in this community, which is a community I facilitate. We meet a few times a month. We're going to be reading some of these activation codes that Isis that have channeled through Isis, and who is a divine feminine, who was one of ascended master from Egypt, very powerful. And so if you want to join us, we're going to bring in myrrh essential oil, which is connected with Isis, blue lotus tea, also connected with Isis. And I've read it myself, and it is very powerful. You read it aloud. And so we're all going to read it aloud. So if you want to join us, I'll share the link here. It's you join the community. First month is free. It's $20 a month after that, which, try to keep it affordable. Blue, that's cool. All right. Okay. That's all I got. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Sending many blessings, much love. We can do this. We can get through this time. This is what we were here for. This is what we were born to do. Okay, much love. Bye.